As spawning in the top left-hand corner, in the top left, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, but returning from the military. It is Zoun. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. The final Terran player in the tournament. Let's go. Let us go. So we have our TvP once again, and we are loading into the largest map in the map pool. Very large map, of course, known for its macro play. The reason for this is because your natural, your third base, your fourth base, your fifth base are all very defendable. They're all very secure. And we'll see how Cure approaches this. Same with Zoun. As I would imagine, we're going to be seeing an economic open out of Cure, going for a Rax Expand, delayed second gas geyser, delayed factory. So economic start here from our Terran player, and we should be seeing likewise something similar here from our Protoss as well. Settling in. Now, because the map is so large and because it's so defendable, this is where something like a Stargate opener from Zoun would be very safe. It'd be very safe to open up Stargate to gain map control with Oracles, with Phoenixes as well, to contain the Terran, and then from there we can just settle into Phoenix Colossus, for example, or Phoenix Ninja Charge Lots. That is another viable option, of course. But we do often see Phoenix play on Neon Violet Square. We'll see if Zoun is one to embrace that or if he heads in a different direction. We shall see. Again, because of the ravine, because of the terrain here, opening up, for example, Blink and 4-gate Blink, it just isn't really possible. You can't really blink into the main and punish the movements and the positioning here of the Terran player. That's just not really as viable, for example. We could see like a safe Blink opener, like 3-gate Blink, for example. 3-gate Blink could work. If Zoun was a little bit paranoid. We'll see. As the expansion is on the way, opening up Sentry into Hallucination, into a scout across the map. As Cure, he's getting into his own factory follow-up. Fanning out his units, making sure there's no proxy gateway. Making sure there's nothing wild going on. As there is our 1-1-1. And as we mentioned, there it is, Stargate. Stargate open out of Zoun. And again, it's just really safe to play Stargate on Neon Violet Square. So this is what you expect to see in Protoss vs. Terran, is a Stargate opener. Now, whether or not Zoun opens Stargate into Phoenix or Stargate into Oracle and then into another tech choice, yet to be determined. Because that's also still possible, still viable here. Like an Oracle opener into Twilight Council Charge, into like Archons and Storm and High Templar. This doesn't necessarily mean Mass Phoenix. It still could, though. Still could be. But we could head in a different direction. Behind this, Cure going into his own Widowmine, setting up for a Widowmine drop. Very committed Widowmine drop as well. And the hallucination does confirm the reacted Widowmines, as 4 Widowmines are about to move out across the map. At least Zoun is aware. Back at home, it is not an Oracle opener. It's going to be a Phoenix. And again, upon seeing the Widowmines, upon seeing the opener, he should be in position to deny the drop. Whether he finds it, whether he catches it, yet to be determined. As Curie sends it right down mid. Phoenix moves out, and Zoun, does he come across the medevac? He will. He will find it, he will come across it, and he will force the unload. As the medevac takes a lot of hits, a lot of damage. Curie tries to boost in, tries to boost away. Bold move, but he's going to have to unload. Didn't want to, but he has to. Oh no! As the medevac goes down, and the drop is completely shut down. Widowmines, they can try to waddle in. Let's go. They're making their way in. Phoenixes, they're going to be able to chase. They pick off one Widowmine. Oh. Yeah, there we go. One Widowmine is going to go down. There's still 3 more left. And here come the hallucinations to bait out the shots. Baits out 1. Oh, the retargeting. And he forces the unburrow on the other. Yeah, and from here, Zoun, he shuts us down. There's 1 Widowmine remaining. Shot goes off. And Zoun with a very, very comfortable start of the game. As the Widowmine drop does nothing. The Widowmine drop, it doesn't scout, it doesn't kill any probes, doesn't kill any units whatsoever. The efficiency here is insane. Losing 4 Widowmines and 1 medevac. Ay, ay, ay. The one thing that it did do is keep the Phoenixes busy, but that's still not enough. That's no shot. And now Kyrie's contained. Is going to be contained. Going into blink, going to +1. Phoenixes, they dip into the main. Getting a couple of SCVs. 3 SCVs going down. And behind this, he's taking up. He's not going Phoenix Colossus, he's going Phoenix into Charged Archon Storm. Let's go. Now, this is more greedy. Basically, this takes longer for this kind of composition to come online than it does for Colossus to come online. But because of the size of the map and because of the map control, I mean, Zoun can get away with it. He can get away with taking up in such a way and skipping warp-ins. This is the army, 2 Zealots and 3 Stalkers, and Zoun should be delaying and skipping warp-ins and just focusing on upgrades, on tech, on production, on bases, on economy, on everything else. As Zoun, he has eyes on the main army. He confirms that Kyr is still stuck at home. As Zoun pulls away. Does pull away, threatening a dive into the main. And Kyrie's had enough defending, he wants to move out. He's had enough, he breaks free. And Zoun, he does miss the move out, which is a little bit concerning. There we go, he pulls away. Up! Gets eyes on the Marauders, he does spot the army, and his goal here is to slow it down. To pick off a Marauder here and there, pick off the medevac, pick off the Raven. We'll see if he can. We'll lock-ons on the Phoenixes. Another Phoenix rallies in. Behind this Zoun, he is reinforcing, warping in as many cells as he can. Charge is done. And the Cyclone is lifted. Ooh, gets the Raven. Massive pick-off. There's no auto turrets, no missile either. No anti-armor missile. Zoun is collapsing in, he's shutting this down. Picks up the Cyclones, shuts down the tank, gets all the medevacs. And this is a rough trade here for Cure. Mindshot goes off, good connection. And he kites well. Does kite well. Curie backs off. Whew. We can take a moment. we can breathe. We can take a moment here. Cure falling back. Getting a 3rd CC. Likewise, Zoun getting his own 3rd fully saturated. Does he have Storm? He does not. Oh, Mindshot going off. Massive connection. Zoun getting a 4th expansion, and instead of taking into Storm, he's taking into Disruptor. Sorry, into Colossus. The base on the way. That's going to be for Colossus production. But this does mean that Zoun's splash damage is heavily delayed. And Cure, he has a pretty terrifying army here. And if there isn't any Storm or Colossus or Disruptors, I mean, Cure, he can make this army work. He has potential. At the same time, Zellarambe towards the mineral line. Getting 1, getting 2 SCVs. Getting 3, getting 5. Oh my god. 5 workers going down. Well worth it. But here comes Cure. And this is not going to be an easy fight here for Zoun. The first Colossus is still in production. And he has to avoid those Widow Mines. Oh. As he tries to engage, Phoenix is a bait at the Widow Mine shots. But that's big connections here with the Zealots. And with that, Curie kites well. Nice force field, locking down the army. But we're running out of Zealots. And the Zealots are being focused down. The Archon falls as well. And Cure from here against them, and he can win. Where's the Colossus? Zoun needs more time. He still needs a little bit more time for the Colossus. Widow Mines to do borrow. First Colossus is soon to arrive. The base is under fire. And it's going to be a close defense here. Even with the Colossus, it's not going to be easy. The Colossus does make it. Swipes going off the base, so it's going to fall. As he spreads out his army, collapses on the Colossus, and Curie does it. He breaks through. Colossus falls, the Immortals as well. And from here, Curie's snowballing out of control. There's nothing left to defend, just a handful of Zealots. And that's just not enough. GG gets called. Cure, he takes game number 1, takes a lead in the semifinals. GG. Whew. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, Zoun very greedy, of course, to delay his splash damage for so long. Again, Zoun, he opened up Phoenix, then he followed up with +1, charged on Archon, then into a Bay, then into Colossus production. As we saw, the first Colossus arrived a little bit too late. Likewise, Zoun was not able to slow down the army enough, and with that cure, he was able to break through in the end. GG. GG, well played. With that, Cure takes the lead in the series, and that leads us into game number 2. Let's go. Game 2 is going to be on Frostline. This is Zoun's map of choice. Just catching up. Was this a throw? I wouldn't say that. I would just say that, again, Zoun, he made the decision to be greedy after the Phoenix opener. So, I mean, I don't know if you could, like, extrapolate that and say that was, like, a throw of a lead. He made the decision, of course, to tech in certain directions, of course, and delay splash damage. Did not quite get away with it. And now we're getting into our next game. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Frostline, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss from South Korea as well. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Zoun. Since I took down another great Terran recently, you might be referring to Clem. It was a while ago now, but for those that are unfamiliar, it was in OlimoLeague. It was actually in this tournament series. I think OlimoLeague week number like 232, like 32, 33. Like beginning of December, Zoun actually took down Clem. I think it was in the quarterfinals. I think it was quarterfinals, not even semis. But Zoun did defeat Clem last month in December. It was very impressive, very solid result out of Zoun. And even here against Cure as well, he had his moments. I could definitely see this series going to the ace match. Zoun has been looking very impressive, especially in these matchups, of course, in PvP and PvT. But we'll see if he can recover, because Cure is no slouch. Because Cure is one of the best Terrans in South Korea, in the world. And we're settling in. Here we go. I think you should have made it closer early. Yeah, Zoun. I think, well, on the one hand as well, I don't blame Zoun necessarily, just because typically with a Phoenix opener, you're able to contain the Terran player a little bit harder as well, to keep them contained, to delay the move out even further. Because the reality is, if you recall in that last game, if Zoun had bought even 30 more seconds, if Cure was any later, then the Colossus pops out sooner, and then it's a much stronger defense, right? There's a much stronger defense, and then in the middle of the fight, maybe a second Colossus pops out as well. Like, it was still very clutch and very close when it comes to the timing that Cure had hit. As he struck just before the Colossi was ready. Now here we go. Now we're settling in. We're going to be settling in. And this time, it's Twilight Council. And this makes sense. On a much smaller map, on a much more vulnerable map like this, it is considered to be more unsafe to open Stargate, so it's going to be a much more secure opener here, going Twilight Council into Blink instead. But the question becomes, how many gateways? Do we open up 2-gate Blink, 3-gate Blink, or 4-gate Blink Stalker? And depending on the gateway count, will kind of dictate the form of aggression or the kind of play that Zoun is going to be going for, how aggressive he wants to be, how economic he wants to be. But now the Adept does move out. Does threaten the natural. Blink is on the way. And behind this, Cure settling into his own 1-1-1. Settling in as they continue to threaten the shade, just denying mining time and keeping Cure on the back foot, just delaying here at the natural. Reaper dips in, and Cure, he doesn't get a scatter, so Cure is in the dark, and we do have another gate on the way, so this is going to be so far a 2-gate opener. 2 gateways for Zoun. And Cure is going for a mine drop. But this is going to be a much less committed mine drop here. If you recall last game, Cure, he went for a quadruple mine drop. This time should only be a handful of wooden mines to move out across the map to scout, to get a read what's going on. Oof. As the probe does fall, Behind this, we have 1 gateway on the low ground, and we have a 2-gate set up in the main, so a 3-gate blink. Very safe play here by Zoun. Very safe play. This should lead into an expansion into a 3rd base. That's a War Prism. We're going to throw down a 4th gateway. Hello. As Zoun is going to be a little bit more active here. Hellion is looking for the expansion, checking the 3rd. Here comes the Wood Iron drop into the main. Stalkers are in position. Blink is done in 9 seconds. And the drop is deflected. Drop is going to be deflected here. Zoun, and he wants to move out. Again, the War Prism is to reinforce, is to gain high ground vision to dive into the main. So much more aggressive here from Zoun. But still no expansion. Oh, meanwhile, Medevacs, they boost in. They just get past the Stalkers. Medevacs should be going down. Ooh, but the Woodmines do unload. And they will get some economic damage. Meanwhile, Zoun is going to be reinforcing. He's going to be committing. Oof. Does dodge the mines. Warping in, soon to be 3 Stalkers at a time. Back at home, there should be a Nexus. Zoun does have the resources, or soon to have the resources for it. Diving into the main. Now, so far, the SimCity is looking very solid. He has a tank. He has some nice wall, a nice wall here to protect that tank as well. Oh. As Stalkers, they poke in. There's a 3rd base. Now, this 3rd base is delayed. Straight up. It's a very late 3rd base for Zoun, which is concerning. As Zoun's being forced back. Takes down a couple of Marines. Oof. But bleeds out some Stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. Not the best trades from Zoun either. Looking at the units all stop here, that was 3 Stalkers for 2 Marines. For 2 Marines, the Hellion went down across the map, of course. But Cure is looking quite solid. Looking very secure, getting his own 3rd TC. On par with the 3rd base of Zoun. So Zoun, he's falling behind economically. Likewise, from here he's taking up, going for a faster Colossus production this time, into Charge, into +1, into the Forge. But again, the late 3rd base is what's concerning me, as that is just going to slow everything down for Zoun. Gets 2 SCVs. Not bad. And with this army, he's hoping to delay any kind of move outs. As Q moves out, Zoun is pushing in with the drop. Going for the War Prism. Main base is exposed. There is that 1 tank. Zoun is going for it. There are reinforcements, so we do have the surround, but the tank is going to fall. Nice pick up. Gets a tank. Doesn't lose the Stalker. Doesn't lose the Stalker. Curie's moving out. Once again, another tank is exposed. Can he get one? Oh, not quite. Nice control. Curie saves the tank. Does keep pushing. Does move out. And Zoun is racing back home. I believe we did have a recall. And again, the Colossus is in position. Curie backs off for now. Doesn't like his chances. The 3rd base is almost done. And again, the 3rd base just now getting saturated for Zoun. So we have it back and forth. Whew. We have a game. They're headed into the mid game from here. Building up. And this could still go either way. I do favor Cure's position overall, just because, I mean, he's been more solid. He's been more secure when it comes to his overall build, when it comes to his 3rd base timing. But there are definitely opportunities for Zoun, especially with his War Prism. Zealots stay load up. He can always threaten to dive into the main once again, especially if Cure moves out. Zoun getting a 4th. And this is where the map comes into play here. The 3rd and the 4th base, as you can see, are very exposed. They're also very isolated from each other. So if a player is very active, especially if they go for split pushes, they can pull a defending player apart. It can be very difficult to defend the 4th, the 3rd, the main, all these locations at once. We've seen many a player try and fail to defend. But we'll see. We'll see if Zoun is able to keep up with the movements of the main army. Does have the Observer. Does have the pair of observers even, keeping eyes on everything. Curie does push through the center. At the same time, We do have the War Prism going into the main. And Zoun, he's aware of the move out. He should be getting in position. Being a little bit cheeky with that Disruptor. But he needs to strike here and now with that War Prism. Can't wait too long. There is a bunker here at the third base. The army does rotate. Zoun, he is aware. He does have that Disruptor. Making 2 Disruptors at a time. Going for the Warp into the main. Zelze pop off. Nova, ooh, does connect. It barely happened off screen. Do apologize. But Cure, he gets on the base. Yeah, the next, it's going to go down. Zoun, he cannot save it. Back at home, back across the map. Gets 6 SCV kills. But Cure defends. Cure, he does defend. Zoun trying to engage. Here come those Disruptors. Never goes off. Takes down nothing quite yet. Going for the Widow Mine. Gets a Marine. Does get a Marine. And Gateway and the Cybercore go down. Nice pick-offs here by Cure. Back at home, the Prism not getting much done. Vikings, they're hunting down the War Prism. They don't quite find it. They're so close. So close. Meanwhile, Zoun catching the tanks. Oh, not quite. Tanks take it away. I spoke too soon. 1 tank goes down. Nice pickup. Tank does fall. Catching out the Observer. Meanwhile, Zoun is building up more Disruptors. Cure, he might be maxed out, but he's not able to make use of the army. Not yet. But he's at least denying the 4th base. That's what matters. He denies the 4th. Zoun expanding towards the north. Cure, he's rotating. He's rotating over. Zoun double expanding. War Prism still alive. No turrets in the main. Getting into more bio production. As Cure rotates. Zoun, he's about to max out as well. Now, the downside here is that because Zoun is stuck on a 3-base economy, stuck on 66 workers, Zoun doesn't really have a bank. So if he does lose a fight, he's gonna have a hard time rebuilding. A very hard time remaking. Meanwhile, Zella drop into the main, goes to the warp in. Zelze do distract. Curie's out of position. The 3rd base is exposed. And Zoun is going for it. He's going for the bunker, going for the CC. We spoke about it earlier, but these bases are very spread out, very isolated, and it goes both ways. Where Zoun takes down 7 SCVs. But it goes both ways, where it's very difficult for the Terran and for the Protoss to defend. But Zoun now has map control. He's maxed. He is maxed out. He's got how many Disruptors? He's got 7. 7 Disruptors for Zoun. Cure trying to keep up. Zoun does respond. Nova goes off. Decent connection on the Marauders. Massive EMPs are connecting. It is a too crazy army. Nothing major though. Behind this, we should be getting into Liberator production. No libs yet. Just into Ghost. Ghost Viking. More EMPs popping up. Novas, they will connect. Again, we didn't have quite the splits we were looking for here for Cure. And Zoun, he gets away with the 4th base. The 4th base is up and running. 5th base as well. He's getting there. Still, though, a very risky position for Zoun. Doesn't want to get surrounded. Novas, they pop off. But here comes the attempt to surround. Ooh, better connections here. And Novas, they shut down the bio time and time again. Oh my god, where are the splits? The splits are not there. The Novas, they keep connecting. Oh my god, the Marauders, they're going down one after the other. Zoun, he can just engage. Who needs Novas anymore? We have Zelts, we have Stalkers. I mean, Novas will be good. But the army is crumbling. Ghost goes down, and Zoun, he takes the fight. Whew. Oh my god. Does take to the end. The Novas are resetting. And Zoun can keep pushing. He can try to at least. Cure, he's rebuilding though. Rebuilding his army. Checking the trays. That was 5 Disruptors going down. We have 4 left. Still very close. Oh. Landing another EMP. Zoun getting another expansion. His gas count is still relatively low, which is why he can only afford a second robo. He's not getting up to triple robo yet. But he's built up his disruptors once again. Pushing him between the bases. Novas, they once again connect with the Marines. With the Marines, with the Ghost as well. Oof. Yeah, massive connections. And once again, Curious supply plummets. He takes all the Novas to the face every time. Zelte peel up here towards the mineral line. SCVs are going down, and Curious being torn apart. It's being torn apart left and right. Workers getting caught out. Ooh. Nova doesn't quite connect, but 19 SCV kills. And now it's just the main army remaining. Zoun can dive in, takes down the Ghost. There's one Ghost remaining. One Ghost left. Up. Your purification Novas, they zone away. And here come a massive wave of Zealots. Zoun, Zoun snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and Zoun ties up the series. We're going to the ace match. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Zoun does tie things up here, and we're going all the way to game number 3. Whew, oh my god. Again, Zoun, he had a hard time. He did have a hard time here in this game. His 4th base was knocked down. Cure was the first to max out, but rotating over towards the northern base is something that Cure never did. He attempted to, but he never did quite punish the backup 4th base of Zoun. He was able to reestablish his bases, able to reestablish his economy, of course, and from there get into his mass disruptor-based army. And we saw that once he got there, he was able to control quite well. Some massive Novas did connect, and he was able to just out-trade Cure. And yeah, Cure just kind of petered out over time. GG. GG, well played. That takes us into the ace match. Let's go. Takes us into game number 3. Oh, gracias, Elidish. Gracias. Thank you so much, Elidish. Nice casting. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. As we're getting into game 3. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid, being forced into the ace match. This is his map pick. It is Cure. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, tying up the series 1-1. It is Zoun. Just get him into a 4-base economy, get him into some disruptors. He can pop off. Can it bring it to anyone? And here we go. I'm gonna be selling in, just catching up in the chat. Cure through this IMO. By that logic, everyone throws, Bappy. Everyone throws. If anyone loses a lead, Kappa. Hello. What's going on? Zoun setting up a proxy across the map. It's going to be a 2-gate opener, 1 gateway back at home, 1 proxy across the map instead. And Zoun, he's hoping for an economic opener. As we can see, double gas. Double gas opener from Cure. This means a faster factory. This means faster Hellion, faster potential Cyclone production, a delayed CC for Cure. Now, it's a bit of a give and take here. Because the CC is going to be delayed, by the time Zoun arrives, he could still deny the expansion. He could do so, as the progression on the CC is going to be quite low, assuming it's on the low ground. So Zoun could at least pull that off, but breaking Cure, that's going to be more difficult, as the factory is in production. Back at home, Zoun should be expanding himself, just going for a 2-gate opener into a Nexus. This is not an all-in, by the way. This is not an all-in, but this should be designed to just gain momentum early on and gain an early lead. As the Cybercore is done, and here we go. We have a Stalker across the map and an Adept back at home. Now, the reason why you want to go in this order is because the Adept can shade, so it takes less time for the Adept to traverse across the map. The Stalker is much slower. So you want the Stalker across, and you want the Shade or the Adept back at home, to reinforce as quickly as possible, to maintain that aggression. Reaper pokes in, confirms there is no expansion. Very suspect. Yeah, he cancels the CC. Nicely done. And again, that's I would say the most that Zoun is hoping for, he could maybe get an SCV in the main. As the bunker is going to be thrown down and the SCV is exposed. Boys are being pulled, delaying mining time. Does delay mining time. Back at home, remember, Zoun, he is expanding, he is transitioning. Getting into a more economic game state, gets one SCV. Just the one. So from here, pretty good damage. He canceled the expansion. He killed the worker, he denied mining time, but at the same time, all the Reaper across the map doing some equivalent damage. As a lot of boys are being pulled here to defend. There's nothing at home. Oh my god, there's nothing to defend. The army's racing back. And probes are falling. So far, one probe kill. He gets a second probe. And going for a third. It doesn't get surrounded. Nice control here by Cure. And the punish is real. Getting... Oh, not quite another worker. Whew. Zoun defends, but again, he did damage across the map. He sustains damage as well. So we have a back and forth. We have a back and forth. Now with the earlier Nexus, Zoun can recover faster. He can of course make 2 probes at a time. And the goal for Zoun at this point should be to contain, to try to delay the natural and keep Cure on one base for as long as possible. As he's reinforcing and pushing in. Here we go. Does move in. That's some good Nova bowling. He can control his balls well, but it's crazy. Oh, as Zoun, a bit of an overreaction. I think a bit of a misread here. Zoun, when he shaded up the ramp, it looks like he didn't see the army, so he just assumed that Cure was going for a counterattack. So Zoun getting into his own head, does recall, and Cure back at home, he's just chilling. He's just chilling. Zoun is in position for drop play. Again, Zoun just getting into his own head, and Cure can now expand. Whereas otherwise, this army, these 5 Stalkers and 3 Adepts, should have been here to delay. To pick off these SCVs, to pick off the Widowmine, to delay the expansion. So Cure can now settle in. Drop is now moving out. And now we can get into a longer game state. How do you make those trumpets with player names in the beginning? There is an application that was made a couple of years ago. Like, I say a couple of years ago, like back in like 2019 or 2020. Oh. There was an application made that we've been using ever since, basically since we started casting. That does that. It does take the in-game names from StarCraft. It does display them in an intro. You can set your own custom sound as well and your own custom visual look. We do change the intro if we're casting like I Am Katowice, or if we're like the B stream of DreamHack. We do typically change the color scheme of the intro of this. Like we change it to like the ESL EPT colors and all that stuff, and we adjust everything. You can change the size. Yeah, there's just a nice tool that you can use. It's called StarCraft Casting Tool. Despite it being around for so long, I think we're the only major casters that use it. I think like Biomorph uses it. Like I think some of the other like community casters use it, but I don't think like Wardy and the other big boys use it for some reason. I don't know. And they've been casting for a lot longer, of course, since like Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Swarm. So you know, they do things their own way. It's fine. It's good though, because it gives us like our own unique, you know, flair. Because we use it, the others don't really. We get the fanfare, baby. We get the trumpets. As from here, Zoun does poke in. At the same time, there is that drop here, threading the natural. Doesn't commit yet. 3 SCVs is going to be going down, and a big shout out to an anonymous gift. Oh my god, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gifted sub in the chat. We do appreciate the support. God, baby God, thank you so much. Hope you appreciate the StarCraft, the content, and the casting. Thank you so much. Thank you. As we are embracing our ace match. Zoun getting his 3rd base. The drop has yet to really commit. Likewise, Cure also establishing himself as well, getting into a 3rd CC momentarily. as we are just getting into a longer game state. Again, welcome one and all to Abyssal Reef. I didn't really get to talk about the map itself, but Abyssal Reef is known for longer, later games. You can be very secure on a 3, 4, 5 base setup. Likewise, Russia's supply ground is very long. You can see that Zoun is already slowing this down, picking up a couple of Marines, picking away at the Marauders as well. Speaking of, gets a Marauder, trades 1 for 1, Marauder for a Stalker, and Cure has yet to expand. He has yet to get a 3rd TC. He's quite committed here with this move out. Zoun behind this. The Bay is still on the way. No splash damage. He does have a safety immortal, thankfully, in production. Force recoil into the main. Drop does distract. The immortals are amassing. And Zoun, he protects the main, but the drop does get away. And will continue to defend their main base. Does threaten. Zealot run by across the map, make sure there is no 3rd expansion. Cure, he's still committed. And there it is, 3rd TC is now finally on the way for Cure. So he is not all in, but it is quite a delayed 3rd, is what I will say. So Cure, he rotates. Let's rotate over. Does dive in towards that 3rd base. Likewise, now we built up towards 3 immortals. But a massive missile goes up. Does cover most of the army. The expansion's under fire, and the Nexus, it's going to go down. There's no saving it. Does save it though. Never mind. Nexus barely survives, and the Zelta collapses on the tanks. Tanks going down one after the other. Nice target firing here out of the immortals. And with that, without any more tanks, Cure, he has to back off. He has to back off. And again, he barely didn't get the Nexus. One more volley is all it would have taken. But Zoun, he holds. Does hold, does save the expansion. Getting a 4th base as well. Almost done. And with that, Zoun is in a better position. Cure going for a Dune drop into the main. He's crazy. Going for the drop. He wants it. He wants the Nexus. Up. Going into the main. Does dive in. There are some Stalkers in position. Likewise, here rallying across the map. Going for the main base instead. Okay, I mean, he'll get it base nonetheless. He should get it. No shot. Up. Okay, there we go. This time he does get the Nexus. Nexus goes down. Reinforces towards the 4th, and Zoun is getting pulled apart. He's not in position. Mine shots going off. Expansion under fire. Can he get the base as well? It's getting low. It's getting very low. And with another stim, he will get it. So the Nexus goes down. We're living in a world where this base survived and the main base in the 4th didn't. Like, I'm still processing that myself. How did that happen? Like, what happened here? Regardless, massive pickups. 2 full bases do fall. Somehow you lived. Good on you. Good on you, 3rd base. I don't know how, but it happened. There is a world where all 3 die, actually. Not gonna lie. But regardless, very successful attack. And with that, Cure takes a massive lead. Takes a massive lead here. He's up in supply. He's up in economy, up in workers, up in bases. Zoun, he's knocked down to a 2-base setup. And Zoun, he's in trouble. Again, he was just pulled left and right, out of position time and time again. The initial defense was impressive. When he was able to hold on here, when he forced back, when he reset the tank count, I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, it's crazy. Like, Zoun is ahead. But the Dune drop pops off, the reinforcements as well. Zoun was pulled apart and could not keep up. From here, that's a Stargate. It looks like a Stargate only for a Void Ray or a Phoenix, only to hunt down these medevacs. It's something that, I mean, it does happen from time to time. Just for a single unit. I mean, that is 3 full medevacs. It would be worth it. If he got the kill. As Cure, he's moving out, has the supply lead, pushing into 2 Colossi. And again, he's got the Vikings. He has Vikings, he has Marauders. Ghosts have arrived as well with EMPs. It's not going to be an easy hold here for Zoun. It's not going to be easy. Cure's pushing in. Does push in, gets the missile off as well. Massive anti-armor. And Colossus goes down, they just melt here before the Vikings. And once again, the fourth base is going to fall. At the same time, here comes our Phoenix. Gets a full medevac. Gets one, gets two. And he should barely get the third as well. But at the same time, the main army doesn't care. Here, he denies the fourth. He hunts down the final Colossus. The final medevac does escape. And from here, Kier can just take another base. Yeah, fourth expansion on the way. Getting into 2-2. Additional ghost production. Here, he's just snowballing out of control from this point. Now, Zoun has potential with these Novas. Technically, he could be down in supply, and if he connects with these Novas, he can fight back. First Nova goes off. Grazes the army. There's one Nova left. But we do need some better connections. And we get a couple units, don't get me wrong. We get the medevac as well. I believe that was the drop that had survived. Not anymore. And we'll see if Zoun can recover. Now, if Kier is too passive, if he maxes out if he's too passive, then Zoun can bounce back, as we have seen before. But Kier should not be allowing these bases to get up and running. It should not happen. Kier, he's rotating. The army is going to be spotted. Zoun is aware. Zoun, he does respond. He's responding. You can see Kier setting up a surround. Again, he's maxed out. He's at 200 supply. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Zoun, as he is slowly recovering. But here we're just collapsing on the army. Never goes up. Ooh, takes down 2 ghosts. 3 ghosts. Ghosts are going down, but it may not matter. Another Nova. Ooh, massive connections. Takes down most of the pile on the left-hand side, but the Marauders, they still break through. They stim in, they stim, and they win. GG gets called, and Kier, he takes the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Oh my god, GG, well played, Kier. He does take it. A very, very intense series, very back and forth as well. Again, I was very impressed with Zoun's initial defense. I see someone pointing out in the chat like, oh, like late splash damage. Despite that, Zoun, he was able to get into 3 immortals, and he did defend against the initial wave. If you remember, he saved the 3rd base, he saved the 4th base, and then Kier went for the Doom Drop. And that is what caught Zoun with his pants down. Like, Zoun, he was out of position, and because he was out of position, he overreacted to the drop. He rallied everything to the main base. He still lost the main nexus, and because everything rallied into the main, his 4th base was exposed. He lost 2 bases at once, the main base and the 4th. From that moment, Zoun fell behind. Yeah, until then, he was looking good. He was looking solid. He was keeping up, and I was impressed. But it only lasted for so long, as Kier, he just went for multi-pronged aggression, did pull Zoun apart. GG. GG, well played. Kier does advance on, and now we have our finalists. Let's go. Let us go. As we have our grand finals up ahead of us here. It is going to be a Terran versus Protoss, the 6th TvP of the night. Let's go.